Hey everybody, it's Jasmine. So today I'm bringing you guys my February hits and misses. This is literally like my 5th time trying to film this video. My words just stumbled upon each other. I'm over it. I just want to talk about makeup. That's it. That's all I want. And literally everything is just like going so wrong. But let's talk about the month of February. February for me went by really fast. I felt like it was like a week long. I don't even know where it went. I mean, I know February is the shortest month, yeah, but I felt like so many things went on, and then here we are now in March. So I started off February really good. I was like, you know, this is my month, because January just was not it. I was not having it, and I was like, you know what, February is gonna be my month. I started off really strong, and then progressively it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I did do a lot of things though. I felt very productive. I decided to go on a trip to Disneyland, which was like an investment. I'd have to say it was kind of expensive. Spent way more than I anticipated. It was snowing, it was cold. I got to meet a subscriber out there, which was exciting, and she gave me her James palette to try out. So a lot of things happened, a lot of good, a lot of bad. I'm still trying to figure out literally my life. But who else my age has their life together? Literally no one. So I'm trying to remind myself that I'm not alone and that I'm still 20. So I'm going to start off by talking about my hits. As most of you guys know, that's how I like to do these videos. I do have 3 palettes I want to talk about, which is a lot, and I feel like is probably like the most I've ever talked about, maybe in a hits and misses. Maybe I have done it like once before. But I wanted to first start off with the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This is the Dose of Colors DesixKaty Friendcation palette. Now when you look at this palette, you're like, neutrals. Okay, warm neutrals, pops of color, especially within like the black, the blue, and then the green. I'm wearing the green today. Now, what put me off on buying this, and what put me off from even mentioning it in a hits and misses video, was the fact that I felt like it was so expensive, especially for what you're getting. Essentially, you're getting not even 12, it's 10 colors in here. Yes, it's a collaboration palette, and it was $55. I think that is so expensive for what's in here. So back in December, I actually bought this at Ulta when it was on sale for half off, so I got this for around $27. I was so excited. I was able to use my Ulta points, and I essentially got it for like free. So I definitely spent my hard-earned money on it, and I really do like this palette. I feel like the formula in itself, the Dose of Colors formula, is different from other eyeshadow formulas that I have in my collection. I feel like when you build up these shadows, they build up really intense, even if it's a nude shade. So for example, this one right here, this regular, like, it looks like my skin tone. This shade right here, it builds up beautifully, and it builds up from light to medium, and then you can get it really dark. But I mean, like, not too dark to the point where it's like a completely different color. It's just more opaque and intense. When you layer the colors on top of each other, you can easily distinguish which color is where on your eyes, and that's what I like about it. It doesn't bleed into each other and it just looks like one brown mess if you're using the browns. I really do like that. So for that alone, I really do appreciate the palette. But what got me to really say this is going to be my favorite palette and I want to mention it is the fact that I used all of the shades in the palette, and I can genuinely say all 10 shades in here are bomb. I can get a full-blown smoky eye like this where I have purple on my eyes. If you guys do want a tutorial, let me know. But I have like a full-blown smoky eye, or if you want like a matte eye, easy, quick out the door look, like you can get it all in here, and I really do like it. And you know, I love Desi, I love Katy. Their channels are literally such an inspiration to mine, and I really wanted to give that a little bit of its own limelight. As far as the second palette is concerned, I wanted to bring back a palette that you guys haven't really heard me talk about all that often, but I use it a lot off camera. This is the Prism Makeup Supreme Seductress palette. Now, the real reason why I wanted to mention this is because I traveled with it. And you know, when you travel with something, that's the one. Like, that's something so reliable, something that you completely trust, that won't do you dirty. You know it's a good product. So this palette right here I reviewed months back, and I titled the video $12 Huda Beauty Palette Dupes. And I do have the other two palettes that go along with this, but I really do like this one in particular. You can buy this one on the Juno&Co website. I have an affiliate link. Shameless plug, because why not? So this palette is just half and half right here. You can see that half of it is warm tone, half of it is cool tone. You guys know me. I am not the channel for cool tone makeup looks. I just feel like it doesn't look good on me, but for the fact that it's all in one palette, it makes your makeup easy. Like, it makes traveling easy. So for example, on the cool tone side, I use these for my eyebrows. You never know when you need a black eyeshadow. The cool tone gold is really interesting. It looks more of like a vintage gold, and it looks really, really pretty on the eyes. And sometimes I feel like on the warm side, this one does have a gold as well. I feel like on the warm side, it's too yellow, and sometimes I kind of want to dull it down. So having options and having, you know, just something to get out of your comfort zone on this half, but while still staying in your comfort zone, is something that I find very interesting. And I don't have a lot of palettes that do that. You know, normally my palettes really stay in like the warm tone, rosy tone, cool tone, and it's always just like, this is the tone of the palette. Well, this one is kind of just like, well, now you have both, and it works. And plus there's a big mirror, and you know, you never know when you're traveling. The third palette I want to talk about is the Sigma Warm Neutrals Volume 2 palette. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Sigma palettes, they're pretty tiny, really compact, and they come in like this. Now, if I am being completely honest, Sigma eyeshadows are so lackluster. They're chalky, they don't want to blend, they don't build up nicely. But I genuinely think this palette really does it all, and I feel like it is their best formulated palette. It's their best color selection, and to me, this is the palette. I feel like this palette is basic, yes, but it is such a huge step up for Sigma to have come out with this. And I know it took me a really long time to get, first of all, and then to test out and then figure out if I really do like it. Now, it didn't take me this month to figure if I liked it. I was using it ever since I got it back in, I want to say November. I think that's when I got it. And I've been testing it out ever since. And ever since this new year started, I found myself going back to this palette, especially for school, because it was just one of those palettes where I could just take the gold and then run it on my eyes and it will look really good, and I could just take one color, dust it on my eyes, run out the door. It's one of those palettes that I feel like will get you from day to night. And if you're somebody who just wants something that's good, if you don't know what to get from Sigma as far as their makeup is concerned, maybe you want to consider this and their pencil eyeliner and their eyebrow powder. Those are just my personal recommendations, but this is just a huge step up from their other palettes, and I highly recommend it. I mean, I've tried a lot of Sigma's palettes, and I can genuinely say that like they're really stepping it up. Two brushes really stood out to me this month, especially for days when I'm running out the door. And listen, I have a lot of brushes. I will show you how many brushes I own. I have a lot. This is more than what anybody should be having, honestly. I do have a video in my makeup collection series playlist talking about all my brushes, but two in particular that really stood out to me were the ones by ShopMissA. It's their new A+ collection, and I really like their concealer brush and their blending brush. Now, those are in the numbers E143 and E141. these, yes, I have a million blending brushes, and yes, I have a million concealer brushes, but these ones in particular are really flimsy. And what I like about that is it's easy to work with, it's easy to blend. If you're on the go, I really don't like to use my stiff brushes when I'm trying to rush out the door. I feel like flimsy brushes blend out shadows easier. Yes, it's harder to build up because, you know, everything is kind of just dusting off of it, but I do feel like when I just want something to put on and leave, then it's good. And even if I'm just sitting down to do a full beat look, I'm still gonna reach for this. I reached for this when I was doing like my whole entire eye look today, and it just works really, really well. Plus you're donating to help children in need, and I think you can buy these individually. So if that's the case, then definitely get your hands on it. Help support children and help their education. I love that. So these ones are definitely ones that I would pick up individually. I have two things from Catrice. Now, Catrice has literally been killing it for me as far as complexion products are concerned. Their concealer, their liquid camo concealer, oh my god, I love this. And okay, I am the type of person who isn't really surprised by concealers. I'm honestly more disappointed in concealers than I am surprised. That's why I normally go for full coverage foundations, and then I'll just go in whatever lighter concealer I have just so I can have the highlighted look. But I can genuinely say this gives me the highlighted look that I'm looking for and gives me a lot of coverage. It's very similar to their foundation, but this one is just more potent in coverage, which I really like. Still very watery. It's more so like a serum concealer, but it works so well. Now this one is in the shade Light Beige, and I think they have like 4 shades. So if you're able to find your shade, that's great. I do want them to expand their concealer line just how they expanded their foundation line. I feel like then more people would want to try their products, because their products are really good as far as foundation and concealer and, you know, like complexion products are concerned. More people need to try it, but how are people gonna try it if you're not being inclusive? So I just wish that Catrice expands their concealer line soon and expand more of their foundations. I think now they have like 18 shades, something crazy, crazier than their 4 shades, but I mean honestly that's a step up. It's a step in the right direction, but it's really good. I think the only con about this concealer is the fact that it does have a scent. Now personally it doesn't affect me, it doesn't make me break out or anything, but it is something that I have to note, and it also looks so good in photos. Let me tell you, so good in photos. Y'all have been telling me this past month, Jasmine, your skin looks so good. I guarantee you it was this concealer. Like, it blurs out everything. It literally just like glides over the skin. Even if you don't exfoliate, it just looks so... it just looks good. Anyway, let's talk about their Prime and Fine Long Lasting Setting Spray. This stuff is absolutely amazing. You guys know that this month I uploaded the Battle of the Drugstore Setting Sprays. This was in it, and I literally took this to Disneyland. This stood out to me so much out of all the other setting sprays that I have in my collection. I mean, right now I feel like I have like the ones that I reviewed, so that was like 7, and then 3 more. So I do have a lot in my collection, but this one really stands out because I do feel like it mattifies the skin and it really does prolong the longevity, but it's not a mattifying setting spray to the point where my skin feels dry. It just makes it so that the middle of my eyebrows, where I do tend to get oily, I say oily because that's like, it's not oily, it's just like where my foundation breaks off like faster, but it just makes it so that my foundation looks great throughout the whole day. So definitely pick this one up if you haven't tried it already, and if you do want to see this in action, I will link that video up in the cards above. So now that all the hits are out of the way, let's talk about the misses. Now I do have a handful of things to talk about, which is exciting because normally I always have like 1 or 2 things. I have 4. Now I have been debating for literally the longest time if I wanted to mention these as misses. Now I like them. But I'm going to tell you the reason why they're misses, like I always do. Now, this is the Make It Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer and Foundation. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the concealer years ago, like 2017, and I finished the whole bottle of it literally within a month because there's like no product in here. But I decided to try the foundation, and I tried them in different colors. Now, online at Ulta, you're able to actually choose like a 0.5 shade. Now 0.5 in the Make It Revolution line is yellow undertone. Now I could not find my shade. It took me 3 transactions just to figure out which one was my shade, like return, buy again, return, buy again, and it was just so frustrating. So these aren't my shade, and you guys know that, but I feel like after I've tried so many other foundations, after I've tried so many concealers since this one in 2017, I feel like it's not worth the money. I feel like, yes, they do you justice, but they're not full coverage. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I only like full coverage. It's the fact that this concealer, when it says full coverage concealer, I at least want my pimples to be covered, my dark circles when I have it to be covered, and to just not look tired. This is not full coverage by any means, and when I do layer it on top of my pimples or my dark circles, it lightens it up. Like if my pimple is red, it'll make it pink. And then if I'll go in again with the second layer, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add additional coverage. So I'm just like, okay, well, this is just for those people who already have nice skin and just wants to highlight. That's what I feel like this concealer gives me. And on days where I feel like, okay, well, I don't really have much to cover, then I'll go in with this. But it's not going to be my first choice. As far as the foundation, this is even less coverage. This is literally so much less coverage, and the only reason why I keep it in my collection is because it is lighter than my skin tone. So when I do have a foundation that's darker, I'll use this to lighten it up, and I feel like that's the only thing I will use it for. It doesn't enhance the coverage of the other foundations. It doesn't really do anything but help lighten it, and I just feel like I wasted my money because I'm not fully loving it, and you guys are actually the ones who wanted me to buy it, which I feel bad that like I don't like it because you guys just really wanted to see how I like it, and I don't know, I just felt like I let you down. But I gotta be honest, at the end of the day, like, this is my channel, this is my face, my opinion. You want, like, I don't know. Do you see where I'm coming from? Okay, now let's move on into the things that I'm actually sad to talk about. So I was contacted from a brand not too long ago, and they wanted to send me a few things. Now in the package they sent me a sponge. This is from the brand Venics, and I was so intrigued because her brand was pretty much all around organic ingredients, good for you ingredients, things that won't harm you, because the owner and the creator of the brand, she was pregnant and she realized she couldn't use a lot of things, and you know, she just wanted overall like for people to use really good things on their skin. So she sent me this sponge, and I personally love soft sponges. You know, that's my thing, and I felt like this was too hard for my preference, and I felt like the foundation was just sinking into the sponge as opposed to going on my face. In a sense, I felt like I was wasting foundation because it wasn't transferring on my skin, it was just going back into the sponge. So to me, this isn't my personal favorite sponge, but I will still continue to support the brand because it's like, y'all are so thoughtful of other people, and I felt bad that I didn't really like it. But if you're into, you know, firmer sponges, then I would probably tell you maybe check this out. You know, personally for me, like I said, I love my soft sponges. You guys are probably going to be so surprised when you see this because I've been using it in a lot of my tutorials. Now this is the ShopMissA Wonder Skin, their matte primer. I know you guys have seen me use this for so long, but I'm going to make it my miss because I've used it so much. I've used this much of it. There's only this much left, but I realize this is what's making me break out. This product is what is clogging my pores, and it's what is just making like my whole cheek situation really bad. That's where I get my acne, my cheeks and my chin for the moment. And I just feel like whenever I use this, it makes it worse and something new pops up. So I honed it all down to this product, and I'm just gonna say it's a miss if you have sensitive skin. If you are the type of person to be acne prone, that's something that you might want to avoid. So with that being said, I'm kind of sad that it's what's making me break out, but you know, there are other things on the market. You know, you guys know me, I love my Touch and Soul No Porcelain Primer, so I'll still continue to use that. As far as the ShopMissA one, you know, it was only $1, so I'll just throw it away now. But that concludes this whole video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had an amazing February, and I hope you guys have an even more amazing March. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.